YouTube.
Live stream on TikTok?
No, on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, I've never gone live on YouTube before.
I've never gone live on YouTube either.
Here we go. First time for everything.
No.
Here we are. Perfect. All right, let's. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Tell me if I'm in your way.
I will. I'm going to check right now.
Just like flip it on wherever. Okay. Are we good over there?
I'm checking. Hold on one moment.
It looks like you can move me.
No, you're great. I can't see any of it.
Okay.
Okay.
All set then.
Word. So I'm going to hit record. Actually, Shannon, can you just stand up real quick? I just want to make sure. Actually, both of you, can you stand up? I just want to make sure that I'm not cutting anybody's heads off. Great. We're good. All right. So wherever you guys want to start, I'm going to hit record here. You're already running on all of your devices?
So. Mm-hmm. Are we in the our heads cut up on the YouTubes?
Yeah. Here you are. You want me to bring this up?
If you can, or if we don't.
Is there more room in the legs?
Yeah, at the bottom one. It's the very, very bottom, I think.
Oh shit.
I'm salty.
Yeah, that happens to me too.
FYI, a little bit.
No, that's all right.
Little warning. I'm salty from the salt blades.
So this one's just video.
I may have to shift you slightly to the side with this creature, just so you know.
And you can lower it if you need to, so it's out of your way.
No, I just have to change you. I don't see you anymore. Here. Okay, great. I can see everything.
Here we are. We did it.
Oh my goodness, and you running live?
Yeah.
Right
Let's do
on.
an introduction since we're live.
Hold on, let me get out of here though.
Hi everybody, or come on in, come through our live.
All right, hey, what's up, everyone? Going the long way. What's
There we go.
All right, see you later.
Skater after all. Hey everyone, my name's Kim Manning, this is Channon Finley, and we're gonna do some therapy today that is addressing problems that skaters often have.
Exactly. Skaters are always doing hard work, and it's kind of amazing that it's one of the most fun things and low impact, but nobody really acknowledges the kinds of aches and pains you get from skating regularly. Low back pain, lots of hip issues, which is kind of one of the number one things I think. And then you'll also find some people complain about ankles and then various parts of the legs, right?
That's right, that's correct. And you were kind of saying earlier too, we were talking about just like the low back, like from the impacts of the falling, and then just, you know, basically.
And you're here all the time.
Exactly, like when you're a skater, your body's always bent. You know, you always have your knees bent. If you have a coach, they're telling you like bend your knees. I mean, and this is like one basic strength actually that people like need
Don't
to
have,
build. Yeah,
right? We don't have enough of this because
Like,
we
what
spend
would
so
you
much
do
of
to-
the world spends so much time sitting nowadays.
What would you do to have someone help build this strength?
Well, there's so many different things about being in this position, right? So a lot of people have a tendency when they start to get tired to start to arch that back, right? Or they do this and sway that back.
Right.
And either way, that's what's going to cause more damage, right? So you just have to practice engaging your core. You can think about squeezing your glutes, and if you think about sort of, if you were wearing a cardigan, that top button right at the breastbone, you want to make sure that that button is buttoned and you're going, huh. So when you do an exhale, you think, huh. Yeah. And all of a sudden your core is tighter, and this position is easier to hold.
Yeah, it is a little bit easier. And I mean, I think that whenever, like, you know, like as a ballerina, you're always taught like butt under. Everything's like butt under, turned out, right?
Right, but then you're turned out.
Right, butt under. But with skating, it's like your feet are actually moving more parallel. You're kind of going on outside edges or inside edges, dependent. But your butt is actually out more. Like it's not curled under. It's kind of out because you're pushing.
Yeah, you're
right?
doing this.
Right.
That sort of push motion.
Right. But I like that it's still engaged.
Yes.
Like, it is like, it's not tucked under.
Right, you don't need to be
Right, it's
here.
not that.
You're just, it's a little bit of a squeeze.
Yeah, but it is squeezed.
And you're keeping this kind of neutral position.
Mhm.
Another thing that I talk about all the time, especially for lifting or club belling, is this idea of spreading the earth with your feet. So it's an important concept because it makes everything engage, but as you know, when you're skating, you're gonna have to let go to move.
Mhm.
But spreading the earth with your feet, you can think about corkscrewing your feet down into the ground and externally rotating. So you're not turning your feet out like this, like a ballerina would, but as soon as you think about pushing your feet down into the ground, the back thigh meat comes forward,
Mhm.
right? And all of a sudden, your glutes engage, the core engages more, and you really feel that, especially from the groin to the knees.
Mhm.
So that kind of engagement, if you are moving in that straight line,
Mhm.
it also helps keep you in a line, as opposed to, I think, a lot of skaters who are wearing like the ballet shoe version will have a tendency to do this.
Mhm.
This is never good.
Well, I mean, it is. Like, we do a lot of this. This is a very, like, this is another thing that skaters have new skaters have a problem is holding this position. And, like, with your toes touching.
Oh my.
Yeah, and your knees touching.
Yes.
Exactly. You need to be able to, and then you can go into, like, a squat.
I can't go very far.
Right. This is something you need to have as a skater.
Uh-huh.
Is this ability to hold this. And I think even just, like, practicing this one like this and just maybe doing like small bounces.
Totally.
Maybe this is our
This
first
is a good
exercise.
exercise.
So you just do like 10 bounces. So let's see. So you start with your feet parallel hip width apart. Turn them to where your toes actually touch each other, and then make your knees actually touch each other. Bend your knees, and then
and then even turning back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah. So we could do like 10 of those, maybe 21 of these.
Sure. 6,
7, 8, 9, 10. I'm feeling it. 12. And we have our knees bent the whole time? Where are we at?
Yeah.
17,
18.
19, 20, 21. I did 21. And then I think that we should do bounces as well on this. So then
Okay,
go back,
this
get your
position.
toes touching, your knees touching. And then here you would do like
Just
down.
trying to
I
go
think
as
just
low
like
as
a
you
little
comfortably
bounce. So like
can.
20 bounces, like 1,
While you're
2,
keeping
3,
yourself upright.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Whew.
Yeah. That's a really important like position for us. And I think like when we're talking about the planting the feet,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I that was a very interesting thing. For me as a skater, I'm really like working to incorporate more of my lower butt. So I like that as something to do. But with skating, we're always dividing the feet into 4 quadrants.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on what edge we are, we're gonna have that part of the foot planted. So like if we're on our left foot, or the right foot, sorry, not my left, for my right, we're on our right foot and we're going forward and we're on the outside edge, that means our weight would be in the back heel, outside heel. Exactly, so it's almost, right. And if you were going backwards, your weight would be on the ball of the baby toe. That would be you rolling backwards on an outside edge. On this same foot, if you're on the inside edge and you're going forward, you'd be on the inside heel. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you were going backwards, your weight would be on the ball of the big toe. So you want to be able to understand and feel all 4 quadrants of each foot and have the stability to like hold your body. So I guess this is a good exercise. We're both doing it together. So we're going from the ball of the baby toe to the heel of the outside of the foot. Then we're rocking to the heel, the inside of the foot, and then we're rocking to the big toe ball. And then we're going to the baby toe ball, the heel on the back, heel on the inside, and then the big toe.
So this is a great kind of exercise to also really find where you might have some imbalance and your
Right.
weakness.
Right.
If you really notice it's hard to stay on the big toe ball, You're like,
Absolutely.
okay, I have to work on the inside line of the ankle
That's right.
versus outside line.
And actually, what you just said there is like describes like why we always, when you see beginner skaters, they're always here, like on the inside edges,
Yeah.
right? Because your inside edges are weak, so you just kind of like
Fall into it. That's why that
right.
spreading the earth is a good also
To, like,
exercise to
get
just
you
stabilize and be
out, yeah, to
using the
become
full foot.
aware of the outside, because yeah, you're stronger on the outside edge. So when you see like a skater, like a speed skater, for example, they're always outside edge to outside edge to outside edge, right? If they went like inside edge, they'd be on the weaker part of the body, because you're just
And
gonna
then you
be
wouldn't have the kind of speed you wanted.
correct. You're just gonna be weaker on the inside. But yeah, the big thing that a lot of skaters need to learn is how to build the inside. That inside of the body. So I don't know, is there something you would?
There's so many things because there's a lot of single leg work that has to happen, right? You're spending so much time.
That's correct.
Even if you are skating with both
Yeah.
legs, there's a lot of work being
Yeah,
done
I
on
mean,
one
on
side.
that note, we should do the other foot.
Yes.
We didn't do the other foot.
Yes, we got
So,
to do the other foot.
yeah,
And you'll
exactly.
find probably this is my left side. I'm right-handed, so it might be weaker.
That's correct as well. Everybody has like a weaker side. Like for me, you're always gonna see me doing bowers on this side, right? Like I'm never doing bowers on this side. I mean, I hate them. So it's like, you know, we all have like,
You
but-
have the side that
but-
you prefer.
yeah, but you kind of need to a little bit do both, because what happens
Yes.
if I'm performing with other skaters and they're like, Kim, okay, you go do a bower that side. Like I can at least
You
do
have to
one.
be able to do it.
Yeah, you know.
But
like
also, the more you practice that thing you don't
It'll
want to do,
get
the
stronger.
stronger you
Exactly.
become.
and then that's like similarly like this part, this hip's the one I have trouble with, because I have that weaker inside edge on this side.
So exactly,
So
doing
it's
more
like-
exercises on that side is going to strengthen and rehab that imbalance a little
That's
bit.
right. Okay, so we'll do the exercise. So we're gonna put our weight on this foot, and then we're gonna imagine we're going forward on the outside edge. We can bend the knee slightly, and we're gonna go from the outside heel to the outside ball of the baby toe, and then we're gonna move to the big toe inside ball, and then we're gonna go to the heel of the back inside, and then again outside heel to the ball of the baby toe, to the inside big toe ball, to the inside heel. Roll back out,
This is definitely harder for me on this foot.
out, in, outside, front of the outside, inside, back of the inside, outside, back, outside, front, outside, front, outside, back. That's pretty good, okay?
Yeah.
So you want to be able to have the strength of that. And like you said, you really, like realistically, when you're skating, you need to be able to do this balancing on one foot, right?
And you have to also practice balancing outside line,
That's correct.
inside line.
So I guess this is the next exercise we're doing then, huh? So we'll do the same thing, but we'll try to lift up the free foot.
Yes, so I always recommend if
Yeah,
you have
the
a wall
wall.
available, if you have a stick or a chair, anything you need to give you a little assist, use it.
We're gonna use the wall. I'm gonna use the wall.
I'm gonna use the wall.
Okay, we'll use the wall, and I'll try to not use the wall. We'll see how this goes. Since I'm the skater, right, I should be able to do it. Okay, here we go. So we'll start as if we're going backwards on the outside edge to the ball of the baby toe, and then the ball of the heel, and I'm sorry, the heel outside, and then the heel inside, and then the big toe on the inside, and then rock back to the baby toe ball, back to the heel, and then back to the inside, and then see, I fell.
Even
to the
the
big toe.
transitioning is actually
Yeah,
so
exactly.
difficult.
And we're not even really like worrying right now about our lines. You know, technically speaking, we would have to have our lines. I would definitely need the wall to demo that. Like we want to have
Maintaining that
the
straight line.
Yeah, so my line would be here when I'm on the outside edges, and then when I move to the inside edges, it goes here. See, I'm falling.
Oh.
And then it would come here again on the outside edges, and then here on the inside edges. So we're just rolling around the foot. Now I'm trying to maintain my line, and you see I'm definitely using the wall to do that.
Other
Okay,
side.
other side, exactly. I'll use the wall for the other side because it's my weaker side. Okay, so outside ball of the baby toe, and then we are going, what do we do?
And then we're gonna go back
Yeah, and then
into
back,
the heel,
and then,
and then inside heel, and then big toe, ball,
And then,
baby toe, ball, back, outside, heel,
didn't stand
inside.
anymore.
heel. Ooh, that's really hard for me.
Yeah,
Just
right.
trying to
You
stay
gotta
here. Yeah.
And,
Inside.
yeah, and then you keep going. And then to fix this line, we need this hip to stay exactly. And then this would be kind of like that. Exactly. That's your outside edge. Sorry, outside edge.
Outside edge.
Yes, exactly. Outside for both edges. And then when you go to the inside edge, you actually, everything kind of rocks.
This
Like
way.
that way. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard without the. When you're skating, it's easier because the momentum kind of.
Will help pull you in that direction.
Exactly.
That makes sense. So, to work on ankle specific, come on down to the ground.
So she's bringing this up because I was telling her a lot of skaters have concerns with like ankle strength, and a lot of times what you'll see is like people saying like, oh, you shouldn't do drag the toe stop or T-stop because that will like strain your ankle, but it won't when done properly. Also when you have a proper ankle support, so like we're talking about her skates over there, you can kind of show them, and how these are old skates. These are actually better than some modern skates.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but like it's very soft. This isn't terrible. Actually, I'm not saying I'm against
These
this.
used to be my mom's, and they were
Those aren't
gifted
terrible.
to me.
You know, and but you don't want anything softer than that. Like if you can, oh sorry, I scratched you. If you can do this, that's not what you want. You want, you want to have a lot of ankle support. Whereas, like this is an acceptable amount of support to me.
So there's a little bit of
Right, so
flexibility.
you can kind of, like if you try to do this, like if you were gonna break your ankle, right? Like try to like pretend like something's trying to break your ankle, right? Right, like you can't break an ankle in there. Like that's what you want. Now this is the Golden Horse Street Diamond skate. For me, it's way, way, way too soft. I could never skate in that. But I
And
would
then how long
recommend
have you
it.
had these?
Those I haven't wore very much. So
Okay.
but this would be good for like you. Like I would recommend this for you.
For recreational
Right, and this is like
skating.
what I'm in. So like you can tell like there's just like you can't even pretend
like
to right, you can't bend it, and so that gives me like a lot of ankle support. Now, no matter what you're skating in, you have to have strong ankles, because if you're skating in like really soft skates, then you need strong ankles so that you don't break your ankle. You need strong ankles so that you can hold these, what we just did. So
Right,
you
all
can,
that work
Exactly.
requires ankle stability and strength.
Correct. And then if you're like me and you're in a hard skate, you need strong ankles so that you can bend and push through them. Because like we have to push through those skates. So, you know, it requires a lot of like strength just to like bend and push through the boot
Right,
itself.
and then you also have to have those really quick turns and changes of direction, and that
That's
requires the ankle doing all of the work
Correct.
in terms of guiding
And
the
you're
skate.
correct, absolutely, with this inside and this outside, exactly. So, this
So-
is something you can do to strengthen your ankle if you're worried about your ankles.
Here are a couple, mini bands. This is a light and a medium, so it doesn't really matter. Go with something lighter at first, definitely, and then you can move into something stronger or more tense as you get used to these and you sort of understand what you're doing and which level you need. So you're just going to bring the band around right underneath your toes. Yep,
I did the wrong foot.
it doesn't matter which foot.
Okay.
I'm going to go out to
Okay.
the side, right? So the band is around this foot, my right foot. I'm actually going to put my left foot on top of it. And now I'm pulling with the band. Yep. And so my left foot is going to be pushing outward to the right.
Pushing, I must be, oh wait, I don't think I did something right, because your feet are crossed. I need to be like this. Yeah, I got it now.
Yeah. And now this foot is pushing this way.
So I took my free leg, so to speak. We call it, we're not using our free leg in skating.
Yes.
And I'm gonna cross it. You said that, I know, but I didn't get it. Now I got it. Okay, so
And then you can pull as much as is comfortable for you,
Okay, got it, I'm doing it.
right? So
And now I pull this foot.
you can pull this foot,
Uh-huh.
the free foot, away.
Away. Oh, yeah.
So it's going towards the right.
Okay. This is good. This will get rid of chin splints too.
Yes.
So this is like if you have chin splints, this is another good exercise.
Yeah.
I did one similar in PT, but we didn't do it like this, but it was the same exercise. Yeah.
We're going for about 20 here. So we have
Okay.
5 more.
Thank you. I feel this in my groin.
5. Oh yes, you'll feel it all the way up the leg
Yeah.
because you're pushing in.
Yeah.
Right, so it's also inner thigh. And so same position, but now you're gonna bring the banded foot out to the left.
Okay. Oh, okay. So now I'm taking my standing legs.
Yes.
And now I'm pulling it that way. Okay. What is this working? Same thing, the ankle.
Inside, yes.
And the groin. I imagine we're doing 20.
Yes,
21 of
we
these.
are. We have less than 10 now. This is 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's 20. Whew. So you can tell it doesn't have to be a really intense band strength. You can start with something really light based on how strong your ankles are, and then
Right.
just move up.
I just recognize that I'm in the light one.
Yeah. I have another medium if you want it.
No, it's okay.
So same exact thing, you're now going to do the other side. So the other foot is holding, but now my left foot has the band. I'm going to bring my right foot down and across.
This is a different exercise.
It is a different exercise.
Okay, so it's different foot on the band. Okay.
Yes.
I'm there.
And now the banded foot is again going to point or move out to the outside. It might not go very far. So now we're working that outside line.
Mine's good. I'm good on this one. I'm like ready to go all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
These are my 2 strong muscles.
10 more. See, I can feel this in my groin as well.
I feel it in my butt.
Mm-hmm. Down here. Yep. 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
So now, going back, because we didn't do the
Keep
first
it on that
exercise.
foot,
Keep
and
it on
then-
that foot.
And then
Now
do
cross
that
the
way.
leg over. Right. And starting with the crossed foot, the free foot I should say, you're pushing towards the left now, or to the outside.
Away from the other foot.
Yes.
Oh boy, I feel this in my weak butt, inner thigh. Oh my god.
5 more.
I feel like this would help my hamstring a lot.
Probably. And rest. Then we're going to do the banded foot, and it's also pressing away from the other foot.
Yeah, no problem. All day.
So this, you might also feel this in your knees if you have weaker knees. So you can always do this with that foot on the bottom. Make it specific to only working the foot that's on the ground so that your knee will not be moving quite as much. This is just my get it done a little faster, get both sides in at once thing. Almost there, 2 more. Okay, so band goes back on the right foot.
Okay.
You're gonna bring that left foot or free foot on the band.
Okay.
And now the banded foot pulls away.
Okay,
From
do
the
this
other
one, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm okay with this one.
And the nice thing is, when you're holding onto that band, it helps you stay upright. You could also do this up against the wall. If you have a tendency to sort of fall forward, this means your butt is not working here.
Oh, I should do it against the wall then.
So these are a really great simple exercise, and I love any kind of exercise with bands because they're lightweight and I can take them everywhere. I usually have them in my bag all the time. And doing something like this, you know, you start with 3 sets of 10 and try and move up. You'll go to 2 sets of 20 and then move up to 2 sets of 25, 30, that kind of thing. And once you get to about 30 reps, you know you can move up in band strength and start at the bottom again.
Okay. So you're in the medium and I was in the light. I felt happy with my light.
Right? Well, my medium has been well used, so it's also
pretty light as well. Okay, so what's next?
So that's a great ankle specific exercise.
What
Then-
about, like, go ahead. Well, I was going to say, what about the dorsiflexion aspect? Because that's ankle as well, right?
It is. So same kind of deal. And again, starting with a light, some people may even want the ultra light.
Before you describe how to do the exercise, I was asking her about dorsiflexion because a lot of skaters, one of the like things you have to be able to do as a skater is like be able to go into a cannonball, like at least to this. But like if you can get all the way down, then that's gonna help you when you fall because you just hit a butt cheek, right? Easy peasy, right? You might go to the side, pick a butt cheek, so you hurt your spine, right? So you like pick a side.
So that's already a difficult one for me.
Right. So when we fall, we want to have this be how we fall. So we're like crazy, and then we fall, right? Easy peasy.
Yes.
No problem, right? So the other reason we want to have strong like dorsiflexion and be able to hold this position is like, you know, for your shoot the duck. Like look at me, I'm doing the shoot the duck, right?
Definitely need a lot of ankle mobility just for getting into squats.
Absolutely. So, and then like if you were doing a sit spin, right? You need to be able to like have, that was a terrible sit spin. If you're doing a sit spin, you need to be able to like have the ability to do that, right?
Yes.
And like it's hard, so I even
So that's also a lot of core strength, which we'll get to. But in terms of ankle dorsiflexion, right?
Explain to them what that is.
So dorsiflexion is when you flex your feet this way, and then plantar flexion is when you point those toes. So P, point, plantar flexion. So now you're creating that nice long line, and then dorsiflexion, you have hamstrings engaged.
Okay, so basically just it's like a fancy word for flex the foot.
Exactly.
Good to know. Okay.
So to work on your dorsiflexion, again, I'm just going to use a band. And this one, you can do this first and foremost. Same sort of position, the band is right underneath your toes in the ball of your foot or on the ball of your foot. And you can literally hold and press. Right, so now you're working the strength of the plantar flexion. And as you work one direction, you are working the other. You want to make it a little more difficult, you can put that band around the big toe.
This is going to be my weakness.
So now already the band is pulling you into dorsiflexion and press to create that plantar flexion.
Okay, I did better than I thought I would with this.
It's not an easy one. You really start to feel this pretty quickly in your ankles.
I'm good,
Nice.
but I'm on the light band, so I might be ready to move up to the heavier band for this one. Because I have good dorsiflexion.
Yes.
Clearly. You know, another reason why skaters need dorsiflexion is because, like, our feet are always flat. Like, you don't.
The shoe is very flat.
You don't. When you skate, you don't articulate. Like when you walk, you bend the foot and you bend the foot.
Right.
But when
But
you
you can't do that in
skate,
skating.
it's all flat, right? So all of that, what would be a bend in the foot, is like created in dorsiflexion. in the foot.
It's really created in the ankle.
Right, it's created in the ankle.
Nice.
Okay, other foot.
Other foot, starting with the full foot, right? And you're just trying to press into plantar flexion.
not cooperating. Okay, get ready now.
And we'll go for 2 sets of 10 here. That's pretty much what we did on the other side. So you'll also really start to feel this in your calf, right?
I feel it in my calf, I think. Yes, I feel it in my calf.
The heavier the weight, the more you will feel that kind of, you know, you're also almost doing a calf raise.
Yeah,
But
you're
just seated.
right. I see that because of my heels off the ground.
Yes.
My heel is off the ground.
And then just doing that big toe.
We gotta do this.
So this one is definitely the level up. Because now you're requiring that big toe to do all of the work of moving that band.
I feel this one in the calf.
Mm-hmm. We got 10 more here. Don't forget to breathe. That's also really important.
Right.
Something we don't think about enough in life. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So those are great ways to work your plantar flexion, which will help the dorsiflexion. But you can also, if you are not where Kim is yet, in terms of being able to get down in that really deep squat, right? My heels come up off the ground. That's okay. I have tight hamstrings and I do not stretch quite as much as you do, I think, as a contortionist. But so you come into whatever your malasana squat, you know, deep squat is, even if those heels come off the ground. And then as you think about trying to put your knees down, you're working that ankle dorsiflexion.
Makes a lot of sense to me, yeah.
So you can always, if you need to, start one
at a time.
at a time.
Right.
And again, my trusty wall, who saves me so much. Because as soon as you take your hands off and try to do this, you notice how much more work it becomes.
I'm good. This one I got.
Yeah.
Right?
Right? And then you try and think about doing it without banging on the ground.
Okay, no banging, Kimmy. So some of you guys, for the record, might still just be on your toe the whole time, one knee at a time, and you're just holding onto the wall, right? And then maybe once that's good, continue to hold onto the wall and try 2 knees at one time, right? And then if you can, I would suggest each time to try to get lower and lower with your heels
Right.
to the ground.
Trying to go all the way into
See, you know.
this flat
That's almost like a
position.
different exercise. Maybe it's a 2-step exercise. We put the 2 together. It's like you try to go back and then you come up and then you're all the way.
Right?
It's like a
See, I have to be really wide to get into this flat
which
foot.
is okay. You know, that's a good because like
But
when you're
for-
falling, you normally are kind of doing on one leg, right?
Right? This becomes really
Right.
difficult. Right? And then all of a sudden, I'm gonna turn this way so you see how it works. When I'm in this flat foot position squat, my knee is dropping down,
But that's
crossing
not
my
what you want.
midline, which is not the same thing.
Right.
That's a different exercise. It's
But
also
you-
an
But you
exercise.
could kind of like do like I just like that.
Right.
Would be the
So
same.
it's either I come up off my heels, which is fine,
Right. I
and
think you're
step
right.
down.
So try to keep your feet parallel is what we're talking about. So you might be up on your toes the whole time, right? That's another thing. If you don't have a wall, you could probably use
Use the
or
ground.
this could be a great place to use your skates.
Yes.
You know, so you can use your skates here. And then if you're so the like beginning step is 1 knee at a time, right? And then the more advanced is like 2 knees at a time. And
That's
I'm
right.
using my skate here. And then I think the most advanced would be the way I'm doing it, where you can go all the way down with your heels on the ground. And then you're coming together to the heel.
Yes.
And you try not to make a sound. And then once you can do that with your handy dandy wall or skate, it'd probably be better to have 2 skates though, so I make sure I'm going even, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not favoring one side,
Which most of us will do. at
which
some
most
point.
of us will do. And then, ooh boy, I feel this in the chins.
Yes.
And then once I can do this comfortably, like, you know, with my skates, then I could try it
without.
without the skates or the wall. Okay, stretch.
This one You can start with like 5
Uh-huh.
because it is pretty intense,
Uh-huh.
and then build up from there. You don't need to think, oh, I gotta be able to do 20 of these or I'm not doing it right.
Right.
Start small. Less is definitely more when it comes to mobility and building that strength.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
coming into that same kind of plantar flexion where you're now going to be putting the tops of your toes down on the mat and you're literally sitting your butt on your heels if you can. You can always get a bolster or a block or something if you need a little bit of elevation because that's painful.
You can use your roller skate again.
Again, you can use a skate. Yeah, all kinds of different things, right? Because definitely this can be a painful position for people's knees as well, right? So we're here, and you're going to be moving. So we have our feet currently plantar flexed, and now you're going to lift up, dorsiflex.
Okay, so they're pointed on the ground, and then I'm gonna flex my little toes.
And then you try and sit back as much as is comfortable.
Okay.
Right? Come forward, plantar flex, sit back.
Okay. Any rules about when we're coming forward? Like
You want to make sure you're still engaging your core.
Okay.
Here. So squeezing your glutes
Okay.
as you come up.
Can you
Come
use
up
your
nice
butt?
and tall, exactly. And then curl those back toes under. Sit back. So in that same way you want to have beautiful long lines, you want to keep yourself upright. If you're trying to look at what you're doing, all of a sudden there's a curve in your back. You
Right.
can certainly look,
Right.
make sure you're doing this movement. But come up.
But we have to be like
Nice and
body aware here. Yep.
Yep. Flatten those feet. Yep. Sit back down. So also when you're sitting, you're not just
Right. We're
falling
bringing
back.
We're in control.
You're in control the entire time, and you're literally squeezing your glutes, lowering down. As soon as you start to move away from the midline of the body, right, from where those knees are, you have all that stability, you have to let the core engage. So this is a great exercise. You can have the feet plantar flexed or dorsiflexed based on whatever feels better for you. It's a great thing to practice both versions. And same thing, you can really think about slowly rising and lowering. Whew. Oh, it's tough.
So we've done quite a few, but maybe we do like 4 really slow. I notice a lot of times skaters like want to rush through things, like, oh, I did it, you know, but like actually if you do it slower, it's more work. So let's do 4 slow. Right?
Yeah.
So with our toes flat, and then we rise up with the
Lift
butt.
up. Come all the way up to where you're in line with those knees. Dorsiflex. And slowly lower. Yeah.
And then lift again.
Uh-huh.
Use the butt. Oh my god, I don't know if we can get through 4. And then flat.
And then lower.
Oh my god. So that was 1.
That was 1.
Okay. Do we do 2 more at least?
Let's go.
Here we go. All right. And
Squeeze the glutes. I will also say this can be easier if you have a little weight. So again, grab that skate, hold it in front of you, and all of a sudden you have a little bit of a counterbalance. So
I like
you're
that.
curling those back toes under
curl.
and lower down,
This is gonna make, we can maybe do 4 now.
and then
Lift.
lower and yeah,
Point
Plantar
the
flex.
toes.
and then lower down.
Slowly lower. Okay, we gotta do at least 1 more. And up. And then flex your little toes.
That's right. And lower.
Lift. And
Plantar
point.
flex. And lower. Nice.
Okay, yeah.
So you can also obviously do that with a dumbbell, a kettlebell, because you also might find that you need to hold both of your skates to get enough weight to move forward.
Move forward, yeah.
And feel free to use whatever you need to get that, right? That little bit of assist. So now we can make it even harder.
Oh boy, okay.
You're in that plantar flexed position,
Pointed toe.
pointed toe. You're gonna come up into kneeling, curl those back toes under. Now you're gonna lean back, and now we're gonna try and lift the knees. Yes, right? Again, you have the floor, you have the wall, and now you can always come all the way up to standing. And lower. See how much you can lower. Yep, with control. Knees are still off the ground.
Okay, those skates
Drop
popping.
the knees.
I'm using my little skates.
Yep. Squeeze the glutes. Lift up. Plantar flex. Flatten those feet. And lower down. That's a lot.
Yeah. I guess we better do it one more time or two more times.
Yeah.
Here we go. And pointed toes. Slowly squeezing
Squeeze,
the butt.
lift. Curl those toes under. Push back, butt goes back towards your heels so that you can, right, I gotta lift one side and then the other, which is totally valid again. Right, if you need to do that, and then you're gonna rise all the way up to standing. Hello, quads. And lower down. Trying to keep yourself upright. And drop a knee or both knees, depends on where you are today. Coming forward into that kneeling position. Flatten those feet. And lower down. All of a sudden, this lower down business seems so easy.
Right. Okay, one more.
Okay.
So,
Lift up, hips
body
up.
first.
Dorsiflexion. Curl those back toes under. Now butt goes back towards the heels. And lift the knees. All the way up to standing.
Might have used a wall for that.
I definitely did.
You did. Okay, good.
And then lowering down. Knees down. Bring up into that kneeling position. Flatten those feet. And all the way down.
Okay, we did it.
That's a lot. We did it all. So another thing that you brought up earlier to me was hips, which have always been a problem for me and are definitely an issue for most dancers,
Yeah.
athletes,
Well,
skaters.
because skaters have our knees bent our whole life, and we're pushing with this bent knee. We tend to have short hip like psoases and hip flexors. This whole area right here tends to be truncated.
Okay. So there's so many great exercises to help strengthen the hips, but also considering a PT aspect of this, whether that's prehab or rehab, because you don't want to have an injury before you start taking care of these kinds of things. So we're going to go through a nice little floor exercise, like a floor routine that is a wonderful option for whether you've had an injury or you're preparing to not have an injury.
Okay.
So a lot of these moves you can do with a band, but you can also do them, especially initially, or if you are recovering from an injury, with no band to start.
Okay.
So starting out, coming onto your back, your feet will be extended.
Fit?
Yeah, I think so.
Two tall girls.
Right? So you're completely on your back. If you need a little cushion or something, feel free to grab one. And if you need to, you can always have one foot flat on the floor, starting out this way. The other foot you're going to extend long, right? And you're going to think about engaging the quads, so dorsiflexing that foot the entire time. And now, just relax down here on the ground. You're going to lift that foot only to as high as the other knee goes, right? So you're thinking about keeping this quad engaged. That's the most difficult part. And lower down. Let's go for 20. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll notice core turning on as you do these. 7, 8, got 10 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hold for 1, 2, 3, and lower. Still squeezing that quad. 8, lift, 1, 2, 3, lower. 9, lift, squeeze, 2, 3, and lower. 10, last one, squeeze, hold, 2, 3, and lower. Just from doing that, you already feel how much the quad is working, which means the hamstring is getting a little bit of a break because the opposite muscle, the opposing muscle, is working. So same thing, other side. Again, thinking about squeezing your quad, engaging this dorsiflexed ankle. So you really want those toes kind of pointing up towards the ceiling, not out to the sides. If you have this, you just want to really straighten them. Exactly. 1.
Not ballet, kids.
2, exactly. 3, 4,
Do you have your lower back hitting the ground?
5. Yes.
So you shouldn't be able to stick your hand under your lower back.
No, you want to create a nice, strong back, pushing down onto the ground. I think about squishing a marshmallow between the small of my back. Yes. 10 more. Those last 4, we're going to do that same 3-second hold. 4, 5, 6. Legs are burning. Here we go. Hold. 2, 3, and down. Hold. 2, 3, and down. 2 more. Hold. 2, 3, and down. Last one. Hold. Squeezing that quad. And down. So people love doing floor workouts because they think they're really easy because you get to lay down. Here's a great example of one that actually you feel the fire and you'll still be sweating. So coming onto a side, love these simple, you can be down on your elbow, on your forearm, or laying on your head, or laying however feels comfortable for you. So again, a lot of the time in ballet, we'll see this move with that beautiful long pointed toe. Here, we're actually gonna flex the foot. So I want you to think about flexing the foot, and instead of trying to go straight up in the air, you're just gonna think about coming backward so that you're gonna go up in a diagonal. So you're starting from this position and going back. Think toe points down. And you might need to come forward a little bit, Kim, so that you have enough diagonal space.
Okay.
So you should be feeling this in your butt.
Yeah, I feel it like where I'm having the groin hamstring issues.
And you're going up and back. Thinking about keeping that toe pointed down.
I'm also thinking this is like one where you have to like make sure that you're not like, your butt isn't sticking out, like you have your pelvis.
Yeah, so if you
Your
come
pubic
down,
bone should stick out, right? Not your pelvis bones.
correct. You don't want to be pushing this way. So I think it really helps for me to have my hand in front of my body, kind of creating a nice 90-degree angle. just so that I'm not pushing and falling forward, and I'm not able to lean as far backward trying to do this move. Five more. 2. And 5. So same positioning. We're going to be, both legs are bent. You can, again, rest on your elbow or on your forearm, however is comfortable, and doing some basic clams. These are always really good for glute med, which is so important if you do feel like you have a lot of low back pain, or you just need to work on using less quads within skating. You want to make sure the whole of your body is working for those push-offs, for those stops.
She's saying this because I use my quads too much. I need to use more of my butt when I'm skating, and as a result, I'm dealing with a lot of hamstring injuries and a lot of lower back injuries. So I'm having to do exactly what she said, and that's like rebuild my booty. Rebuild that skater butt.
That's right. So starting in this bent leg position, again, I have my hand forward just because, again, it helps to prevent me from pushing too far and laying down, or really opening myself up, and then I'm literally trying to open my hips when we do the clam, which is this next move. But if you're kind of laying on your back, then the hip is not doing the work. So you really want to make sure you're staying in this side lying position, and knee up. 2, we're going to do 20, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 20. So next we're going to do reverse clams. Same kind of thing, same positioning. Now you're just lifting that foot up into the air. Here we go. Ankle up. 2, 3, 4. You'll really feel this in the outside line of your butt. 7, 8, 9, 10 more.
My PT person has me doing this same one, but I actually put my leg on a bolster and keep my leg in line with the body. So it's like the same thing, but you can see I put my leg on my skate, knee on my skate instead of the thing.
Yes.
This is just, I guess, for like my particular
Your particular situation.
But it's the same exercise. So maybe if, like, because when I do this, to me, this feels quite easy, right? But whenever I come back
As soon
here,
as you extend that leg out so it is straight, instead of in that 45-degree angle you're creating.
it's still the same angle, but it's just that the knee is in line with the hip.
Right, it's not the same angle for that head.
It's not the same angle for the hip. You're right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But still very difficult in here. And you can always add on ankle weights, or again, you can use some kind of resistance band if you wanted to.
Oh, so this is one where we could put on our skate.
Yeah, but I would definitely recommend being really great at doing these.
Right.
Doing like 40 comfortably without it feeling like a thing before you're trying to add,
Any kind of
3 to 5 pounds.
start with the 1 pound, not the 5 pound skate.
Exactly. If you have that option, start with the lighter weight and then move up. So now we're going to do, I call these clam bakes.
Okay.
Because we're still in a clam position, you're going to open that leg up. And now this knee stays where it is, that top knee. And now the ankle is going to lift up.
Ah,
and down.
wow. Oh boy, this is hard.
Yeah. 3, 4, 5.
I like how you put your
hold.
hand there so you know it doesn't move.
Exactly. 10 more. And you may find that you cannot open your leg quite as wide for this version of clam. That's okay. Start smaller and work your way up as you build strength.
So eventually you want to be open more and still have that same thing.
Yeah. And rest. Whew. One more exercise on the side. You're going to extend that bottom leg long. Top leg is going to come flat on the floor.
Okay.
You can hold on to that leg if you like. Thinking again about flexing that foot. And you're just going to lift the bottom leg up, straight up. But you're flexing that foot, squeezing the quad. Here we go, 20.
So we're still working that inner hip,
7,
right?
yep.
The hip flexors.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. So I just want to show you, stay there.
Oh yeah, correction.
While you're here, let it come all the way down so you feel the ground with your baby toe.
Okay.
And now lift up towards, yeah.
Okay.
But keep the toes pointed out to the side.
Okay.
Yes. Right, so in ballet we'll find a little trick where you're pulsing and you
Right.
don't have to lower all the way down.
Right. But we want to go all the way down.
You want to go all the way down, all the way, as high as it goes.
Yeah.
You have great range, right? There's a whole lot of space she's creating when she lifts her leg. Yours might not look like that, and that's okay.
You might be like a little bitty pops.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
So all of those things we have to do on the other side.
Let's do it. Oh my gosh, let's do it. I think I'm gonna take a drink of water before.
Yeah.
You at home can do the same. Let's see then. Also, okay. There we are. Alright, I'm going to do. Oh, I guess I didn't charge that one. It's gonna be close up. You can never have enough cameras. Okay.
We can always do that after
We'll do it later, yeah.
and add them in. So starting out with those, they're not exactly just leg lifts, right? Bottom leg is bent, top leg is straight, toe is going to be pointed down and flexed. And again, you're thinking about pushing it out in a diagonal behind you. Come on forward towards me. Give yourself more room, yeah. And kick back, toe points down, 2.
Maybe I did it right. I'm not doing it. More? Okay.
Yeah. And now you're going to feel it all the way in here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
Interesting.
So a lot of the time we do basic leg lifts where you're here and lifting straight up, and those are great. But if you really want to get deep into the butt,
I want to get deep in the butt.
adding this little toe point down and that diagonal changes everything. 10 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh.
Do the other exercise.
Oh
Hands
yes.
out.
Clams now.
Okay.
And if you want to do the clams that you're supposed to do with that
Oh right.
change.
Actually, I'm going to do it on the one foot because of I got that unbalance.
I
That's
see.
okay. Which is something, you know. Truthfully, I'm only doing that particular. Are we doing regular clams?
Yep, regular clams. Here we go for 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I always have a problem doing an exercise on only one side. I'd rather add a couple of reps to the weaker side, but I still want to make sure both are working.
You know, and I agree with that, but she's got the DR behind her name,
It's true.
so I'm gonna take her
You
advice.
just do as told.
I'm gonna
That's
do
right.
it.
That's how we do it.
Yeah, but it's true. In most cases, you know, most people wouldn't have decades of skating on one dominant side to
That's
have built
true.
the level of imbalance that I have got.
And that's a great point too, that you want to make sure rather than build up an imbalance because you have one side so much stronger, do it on that weaker side. It may feel totally wrong and super goofy, but it helps to practice because also you're literally working your brain more to understand that movement, and you will be better on both sides because you've done it on the side that's harder to
It's harder
get.
to get. Yeah.
So now we're doing those reverse clams.
Okay, I'm just gonna do the normal one.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Now we have those clam bakes where you lift the knee up in that clam position, and then ankle lifts and lowers. 1, 2, 3.
Just smile if it hurts.
7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more.
Mm.
6, 7, 8, 9. Whew. 10.
You know, I'm really in pain when the cheerleader smile comes on my face.
Right, and you're like, oh, power through. So now we're doing that bottom leg lift.
Okay. So we cross the foot and kind of put it up by the hip.
Cross that foot as far as is comfortable for you. If it comes closer to your knee, that's totally fine.
Right, you might be
You
good.
don't have to hold on to your foot. It just
Right,
makes
some
it a
people
little
might not
easier
get
for
that
me.
good.
But then you can kind of come down. You can be on your elbow, thinking about toes pointing out to the side, flexing that foot, engaging the quad, and lift.
Oh, right, I want my foot to touch the
4,
ground.
5, yes.
Angle.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So whether or not you have hip issues, knee issues, these are all really great exercises to help rehab any of those.
I think too, you can kind of like know where you're weak based on like
What
some
works,
exercises
what's-
are real easy and then the other exercises are really hard. So you're like, oh, I guess I better work more on that. You know?
Exactly.
Mhm.
So last one, you're gonna be on your belly. We're still doing those leg lifts, but also this thing of doing all of these lifts in this dorsiflexed position
Mhm.
changes what muscles are working.
Okay.
So we're doing leg lifts, but on our bellies, and the
Okay.
feet are going to be flexed.
Okay. So on my belly, I'm gonna watch.
On your belly, here, right? Those feet are flexed. Just one is moving at a time. One, and you're only going as far as is comfortable. You don't have to get it
Right, you go
up into
quite
the,
far.
yeah. It can be much smaller.
I can't like this.
And just doing one side first. So flexing both feet and lift. Thinking about toes pointing down to the ground. Yep, and lift.
Near as high as here. Oh, the same one for the high.
Yep, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, you can see how this will work your butt.
Yeah, if I think about it too. Otherwise, I might use the wrong muscles.
Exactly, that's why you gotta keep that flexion.
I almost need to like touch it to make sure I'm using the right area.
Exactly, switching legs.
Because otherwise, I'll figure out a way to use my quad.
Isn't it funny that our bodies allow so much compensation? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Another way to like make sure you're using the butt, not the quad, is to keep the pubis bone on the ground and not letting these hip bones push into the ground.
That's right. chest. Shake it out. Already that can be a lot. So that's a great, when you're not talking as much, it's a great little routine to add into regular training, even if you just do it a couple times a week at first, to really strengthen hips, quads.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so do you want to just remind us all the things we did?
What did we do? We did a few different ankle mobility exercises with the mini bands to start, making sure you're working both inside line and outside line until you know which direction you really need to work most. We also did a bunch of sit to stand, plantar to dorsiflexion kind of exercises where you're not just working the ankles, but you're also working the quads to get up and down. You're working the glutes, because all of that is a part of getting up and down off the ground. And then we did this little floor routine that is all, for the most part, working without it being a high impact. So again, working hips, glute med especially, and helping to let the hamstring and knees not take a lot of impact for this.
Absolutely. Yay, cool. All right, awesome. Well, thank you.
Of course, thanks so much.
Yeah. All right. You guys that are on our YouTube Live, make sure to subscribe to both my page and to Shannon. Shannon, go ahead and tell them your page.
My YouTube is just my name, Channon Finley, ChannonFinley, and it'll be in the description as well.
And then if you're here, you found me on my page, Kim Manning Space Queen. And you can also follow us on Instagrams and TikToks and all the other clock apps and walk apps. And we'll see you soon.
Bye. There you go.